Hey, how's it going? Ooh, excuse me. Why don't you take a look at my sign if you wouldn't mind? Okay. So I have something to read today, and I'm just going to read it to you because it's... What the heck was that? Anyway, I'm just going to read it to you just because that way I'm not going to wander too much. Because I have cards, too. And also want to just talk, also, so could be a long one. Okay, so let me find the beginning here. Okay. There's kind of a theme here, so okay. Tuning the energy field. Since learning that saying be the change you want to be needed some evolution for me to accept it, it took a while to accept it. It took some time to be able to truly grasp its meaning. Like anything we take on as a new activity, we may not get it right or fully take the meaning on the first attempt. Like most things, so I think some more, yeah, I wrote, okay, like most things, more attempts and fails are required to find the way. It takes practice to master any skill. I'm speaking now on what it takes to add to the awakening of consciousness. It's not what we think, not upon first glance, not after several, in my case. To cross from what we think we see and know as opposed to what we are seeing, what we know to be. Oh, that we know to a point. This is something scientists know, even though they are sometimes the hardest to convince when it happens, but there's a consensus until a new piece of information arises that changes the narrative on what we know about the subject in question. Or we, the scientists, but they're people too. It's learning. Like, you don't know it all, even if you think you know it all, which is silly, again, for a scientist to think, because your job is like discovery, not like finding a thing and just like, that's it, I'm nothing else after this, and also we're the only intelligent life in the universe. Okay, never mind. Where was I? Like anything we take on as a new activity, we may not get it right or fully take the meaning on the first attempt. Like most things, oh, I already read that. It takes practice to, okay, I already read that too. I'm speaking now, on what it takes to add to the awakening consciousness. I think I read that too. It's not what we think upon. I read that. Okay, I read that too. Okay, the last thing should be, we think we see all, we think we see and know. Oh, to cross from what we think we see and know as opposed to what we are seeing and what we know to a point. I didn't finish that sentence. Well, I guess that would be the journey part of the evolution that I'm trying to work my way toward. So let me keep going. This is something, okay, this is something, well, I already read that. I'll try it again. This is something scientists know, even though they are sometimes the hardest to convince when it happens. But there's a consensus until a new piece of information arises that changes the narrative on what we know about the subject in question. Gee, I already read that. Okay, so this, yeah, it's learning, basically. Like, you don't have to be a scientist to know that you know something to a point, and then, like, life just brings you to a point where new information can come to you and add to what you already know. So it's, that should indicate to you that, oh, this can probably always be added upon, and not, okay, this is the end-all, be-all. No one else gets to learn anything more. That is not learning. After some research, investigation, and papers presented and argued over, an accord is come to, and the new bit is added to what we know about whatever it is that we're talking about. Whatever it is, whatever all the fuss is about. What did I write? Not what I just said. I can't get the sentence that I see outright, so I'm just gonna, I hope you got the gist. I'm gonna move on. In a similar way, we personally go through the same process. We start off clumsy and insecure about our understanding, execution of this unfamiliar, not unfamily. Where's my stylus? Familiar. Where was I? We start off clumsy and insecure about our understanding and execution of this unfamiliar posture or wardrobe. The first few times we do it, stance and threads are a metaphor. So, okay, I have to try that again, because I don't think that made sense for anybody. Okay, in a similar way to what I was saying about the scientists and the learning, like there's stuff you know and then like more is gonna come later, like there's always that eventuality that more can be added. So in a similar way, we personally, we individuals, go through the same process. We start off clumsy and insecure about our understanding. About our understanding. Okay. We start off clumsy and awkward about our understanding execution of this unfamiliar posture or wardrobe. Like, we're just not sure we know how to do it. Okay, the first few times we do it, I guess that's part of that whole, that's a sentence. I guess there's no punctuation there. One more time. No, I'm not going to do it over. So, stance and threads are a metaphor, as in posture and, oh gosh, I should have got outfit in there. That's a good one. Well, outfit. Uniform would also work. Stance and threads are a metaphor. The comfort comes with repetition. If we get a promotion in the service and achieve a new rank, your uniform, insignia, and new duties might feel awkward. Giving commands with authority, any of it new and unaccustomed, can be gotten used to. At some point, it's the new identity and you're comfortable. Unless we're some kind of savant, we Oh, yeah, unless we're some kind of savant and you can just step into any new thing and just do it perfectly because, I guess, savant. That's like a rarity, though. We rarely know what we're dealing with those first times, but we persevere, and next thing we know, we can dream in the new language. Wow, that's dark. I'm headed to a more clear place here. I learned something about this metaphysical stuff, and for a fairly large number of reasons, why it's something I had to learn and relearn multiple times and ways. Example, remember Y2K? How we thought, maybe let's just bring it up here. So yeah, remember Y2K and how we thought at the stroke of midnight, wait, where'd that go? Oh, there it is. We thought at the stroke of midnight, planes would fall out of the sky. We were Chicken Little. What about... Oh, so we were wrong about that. When the new millennia began, it's almost like what happened with Doge and them not understanding like the antiquated computer code, so they were just thinking something that didn't mean what they thought it did, which they thought it meant people were dead. And I don't know how true all of that is. Like, how dumb are those people? They gotta understand that if something indicates that somebody was getting money but they're dead, then they know the person died. They're not still paying them. But that's recording that they died and that they're not still paying them. But they just got it all screwed up. And then on the news they said it was because they didn't, the code was like old, like COBOL or Cobalt, whatever it was called. Like, I remember that from when I was young. So that, yeah, that's old stuff. Evolves, like new generations of tech is just blindingly fast these days. But so like it was like whatever was on the original operating system, I guess, on the Commodore 64s in the government out there in Washington D.C. I don't know, I can't think of what offices it was, but the Social Security, but because it was just so many generations in the past. Like, they might not know what if you say album, they'll be like, what's that? You know, when you're talking about a vinyl record recording, people didn't understand that record was short for recording when, like, vinyl was it. I don't understand that. But anyway, don't get sidetracked. Why did I put it down? Now I'm just talking. Sorry. So yeah, that was Y2K. And because the thing that we got wrong about that, like, no planes fell, like, we thought all computers were just gonna, like, reach some kind of 0 day or something. It was like the singularity and they gained sentience. I don't think that's what they thought was gonna happen, but I think they were saying 0 day. And it was like all disastrous sounding, but then when I look it up, it's like, oh, that it's not going to affect like everything in the world that it happens, if it happens, you know? Anyway, we were just wrong about that, and everybody was all running around just panicking and saying frightened stuff. Okay, so we were Chicken Little. What about 2012 in the Mayan calendar? We thought the world was going to end there, too. The doom crying we did. Wow. Yeah, it was inspired. turned out we had poorly understood the Mayan calendar. After some time passed, it was finally understood, and it was finally understood that it was literally illustrating the end of an era, like like we were not able to read the calendar. Appears to be like a circular something, like one of those green things there, but I think it looks bigger, and it has like script that's from like the Mayans' time. So what they were and they didn't decipher all of it, like enough of it to understand that something about a time period expiring was there, but they thought it was like time, like all time, everything, everywhere. Yeah, that's gonna be a mind blower too when it gets mainstream about what time is or how it behaves. So yeah, finally we decoded it and learned that, like, oh, they were talking about a specific period of time ended where that maybe there was prophecy involved, but it just looks like a lot of ancient stuff. Like, it contains a lot of stuff, even when we figure it out, we're like still unclear on what it's actually saying. But let me continue. Okay, so obviously the world didn't end because, hi, how you doing? After some time passed, it was finally understood that it was literally illustrating the end of an era. It reset into another one, and here we are. We have a tendency to think the worst first. I'm glad that most of the time we're wrong. We usually end up with a new perspective. It's constant. You can always add to it. Tell me you've never met anyone who turned out to be different than you thought at first. God, this sucks. What changed? What changed your mind? New information combined with time, I'm guessing. That too, a recurring theme in our lives. Two things I learned differently of lately are, first, the veil. You know the one. The one between you and your dead loved ones, or perhaps between heaven and earth. I learned that it's less so, meaning that I, at least, don't know about you, have loaded a bunch of unnecessary symbolism atop it. Turns out it's defined as a barrier of sorts, generally by us, or at least I somehow got that impression from all the stuff that somebody else published. So we're just all kind of passing notes, right? Turns out it's defined as a barrier of sorts, and it is, but to the next penny to drop. To that one key piece of missing information that would complete the picture. Ooh, I spelled that wrong. It occurred to me the more pertinent piece of information there was... the most pertinent piece of information there was that the piece of information eluded us. I don't remember writing that. It's like getting to the root of why the veil exists in the first place. I think it's there because we need to understand something before we can get to that other piece of info we were so hot for to begin with. Everything, and I mean everything, is like that one, is like that once we learn that. Oh, Jesus, let me do that again. Everything, and I mean everything, is like that. Once we learn that, it's a step up. I mean, it really does, like, widen your horizons when you tuck in that new little piece of information. Then there's the solar flash and the event. You may know of those as well. I learned of them. I'm just not even facing this. Oh, that's better. I learned of them a decade ago, and I was under the impression it was something we had been waiting for to happen. When for either to happen, they've depended on us the whole time. You too may need to reposition that thinking. I'll wait. Just kidding. You probably can't hear it because every video that I watch, people are like, World War III is going on outside. Let me shut the door. I never hear it. I never heard anything. Never, ever hear it. The reason why I'm talking about it is because my neighbor is an elderly lady, and she has 2 doggies, and I heard something woke me up this afternoon because I'm still sick. I was sleeping at all hours. And so I got up to see what the noise was. Like, I just couldn't figure out what it was. It was an ambulance picking her up to go to the hospital, and there was, like, the radios and people talking, like, quietly, so it was just all... I had to go be all nosy. So, her dogs, though, are freaking out. They are, like, poor babies. They're just howling and screaming. They got quiet for a while. They must have gotten exhausted and fell asleep, but I don't know how long she's going to be in there. When she first moved in, this is too much information, but never mind. I just hope they're not alone too long. So anyway, back to it. Oh, you know why I can't see? Well, I probably can't see with the other glasses either, but these are those dang new ones that I only wear sometimes. Give me a minute, or less than that, I promise. Okay. Finally, I want to focus on my use of the word we. We, I mean, it's not just me, we all do it. See, we, there it is, we all do it. That's what I mean. We do have free will, and contracts can be amended. Wow, there's a big old grease smudge on my lens. I hate that. Contracts can be amended, but we are living in unison. We may not be acting as if we are on a team, but we are. We act independently or as a team, individuals and families all on paths not clear to everyone, including themselves. Yet they all have a purpose, and ours is to, the rest of us individuals, is to witness, step in to help when appropriate, and be in loving support otherwise, as we carry out our own journeys. However, sorry. Really? That's unsatisfying. However, we never do anything completely without the aid of each other. A freeway constructed at one time by great-grandfathers will be used by many generations going forward for years to come. We always have help, friend, family, or stranger. We need not be present, but it's the way things done by some of us are for the benefit of the rest of us. It's kind of always been like that, always the way. In order, however, to accomplish an event and a solar flash, it requires an immense number of us to have made their way. Oh God, what was I thinking? To have made their way through stages of awakening, become enlightened, and to maintain a high frequency. As of now, enough have coincided for long enough for measurable flares of light. As we do it more often and in the ever-expanding numbers added to the core of awakened souls, conscious of what's required to bring about the aforementioned events, it's going to be unlike the world has seen, if ever, as incarnated souls, period. For those unconscious, like not really aware of all of the stuff I talk about, because it's wacky, I get it, they'll see what they're able and ready to see. The only real difference will be regulated by consciousness level. I would suggest not overthinking it. Okay, so I said finally before, and then I had more. We unconsciously say it routinely, automatically. Automatically, for the most part, we're inclusive. We are inclusive. Let me what about you before you can what about me. What about haters? We hate them. They hate us. Maybe they, in fact, don't share the feeling. Maybe they don't think about the haters or anyone they're not close to, except in a fellow man kind of way. Nothing personal, no offense, no interest. Both groups, regardless of the format, constitute a we or they, depending on your perspective. Imagine if the energies of both camps focused on a common good, a common goal, or good. Or, don't imagine that. You can do it. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You can join the huge group effort for flashy solar events. The best, if you want, the best thing about adding our energy to bringing them about is the magical journey of the unexpected along the way to reaching the high vibration necessary for the desired harmonization to cause the desired effect. Woo, that was a long one. Maybe I'll work on that some more before I upload this anywhere. The high vibration necessary for the desired... the effect of eons of planning and training to bring this prophecy to life. Is what I have heard it said. And it kind of makes sense that it would take eons, because everything takes forever. But there's so many of us, and all of our stuff has to happen in a certain way for it to mesh with everything else having to happen in a certain way, and probably a certain time on top of that too, that's nutty. That's super complex. That's something that, I mean, I think you'd have to be a god or an angel to, like, you know, stick your finger in the middle of something and change it, you know, stir it in a different direction like it's a event coffee, event sorbet. I don't know. I just feel like so many things, like, are set in motion to go a certain way. I'm sure, like, with the idea that certain variables are included, but again, that's so many people that all has to work out for, and yet it does. So, yeah, I can imagine that taking a really long time. And I'm saying that because I have said this myself, like, if the Bible says that this and this and this is going to happen, why is it taking so long? Shouldn't it have happened by now? Well, some of the stuff has happened. If you, it really depends on where your focus is attention. Like, there's one prophecy that, I mean, I don't know if it was one of the 7 seals or whatever, but they make it sound so terrible. And that's another thing we have, I think, mistaken. We just misunderstood what we were told. Like, we didn't add enough of our own, like, you know, cryptic parable thinking to it. Anyway, what the heck was I talking about? Oh, so, yeah. One of those biblical, horrible, scary-sounding things was talking about, like, for Revelations, like, the end of days was, the water's running red. Well, that happened years ago, not that long ago, like, within the past 10 years. And then other things like that happened, but, you know, I don't watch, like, biblical forecast watch TV. I just happen upon some of those things sometimes. Anyway, I'm going to be... Oh, I have cards, that's right. Well, here, let me real quick. Oh, that's right. So, in connection with what I was talking about, with us, we people, being the catalyst for the solar flash and the event, instead of, like, I was doing for so long, thinking, like, the solar flash was, like, entirely, like, a meteorological thing. No, it's part of that ages-old planning. And the training I mentioned, well, that's, like, lifetimes, you know? Like, reincarnations that you are training, and, you know, we have various kinds of training. Like, I know mine is how long can you stick it out all on your own before you go completely nut job? And other things, but, it's actually, like, yeah, I mean, I could go nut job if I don't get some companionship here soon, but I understand that, like, you end up, or I guess, end up in your life doing something that is actually not that hard or out of character for you to be doing. Like, I guess, I always attribute it to being an only child. I had no idea that, like, I'm, like, an introvert because of, like, following the path of what my karma is, because that's the direction I'm going in, because spirit. And I guess I get it now. Like, I don't know what's coming that's going to require me, like, how that's going to help, but hey, I guess that's part of the surprise, right? So, knowing now that more is required of us, then, you know, like, okay, Now I'm awakened. Now I'm just gonna wait for stuff to happen. Like, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that in like real life either. You can't just sit down and stop doing that stuff. Otherwise, you're homeless. That's what'll happen if you sit down and stop doing stuff. Well, that's not the only scenario, but let me not get sidetracked. And so, to that end, and I didn't realize I was doing these things to that end, but I've been doing things no one's told me to. I was just like, I want to do this, like work on my energy, like tuning it and figuring out how to do that, It's one of those things that you just are doing anyway, but because it comes so naturally and you don't even think about it, you probably are not really paying a lot of attention to, like, controlling it, and directing it in a different way, So, I've been sort of cataloging and paying attention to, like, new sensations and new, like, characteristics to things that I was already doing, like meditating, and that's become like more intense in a lot of ways, and just things like that. So I really enjoy meditating at night, and I just started hearing, I talked about this a couple of videos ago, and I think I've just been talking about it here and there, but that's not new. I've been going outside at night here since I've lived. I moved here in 2004, so I've been here a long time. And I would go outside and sit and meditate. Like, that's why I've been going out there so long. I didn't really notice crickets before. And then I just started hearing them, I don't know, a month ago? A few weeks ago? It's not that long. And I just enjoy listening to them, but I did notice that if I make like a sharp noise, or like my phone's too loud and the ad comes on and it starts screaming and yelling, they stop, and then I'm like, oh my god, no. So I learned to turn the phone down so that doesn't happen. I learned to whisper when I'm talking to my cat, which I probably should do anyway, because it's summertime and people work around me, and if it's dark, since it gets dark later, then it's pretty late when it gets dark. So I just have been keeping it down, and I noticed that also works for the crickets. Like, if I, keep it down, they start singing again. So for a few weeks, I've really been enjoying that. But, I just have so much fun with the bugs in my backyard. Or the yard, I guess. I live in an apartment complex. Nothing is mine. But I have like a big blackberry bramble right across from my sliding glass door and little porch. And, all kinds of birds and squirrels and flying insects and bees. Like every kind of bug you can imagine comes there. So I get lots of, I can just sit there watching that for hours, and I do. Anyway, I'm listening to the bugs, and I'm learning, how to coexist with them so I don't make them stop singing. And I think they're kind of getting used to me, too, because I noticed that I dropped my lighter on the side table, and it clattered really loud, and they stopped for a second, but they just... it was almost not even noticeable. Like, I was like, did they really stop? Because they kept going. It was loud. But, I immediately, stopped the noise and just got everything back to quiet. And the cat was making noises, and then they'd stop, and then they'd go back. And then I was like, I wonder if they can tell... the difference between me, my energy and the cat's energy. And I just started wondering if through like my breathing and concentration, could I don't know, like in some way, like connect with them so that they don't like freak out when I drop something or something, like I don't know what I was doing. So last night they were singing super loud. I don't know what was going on, but I usually have like my phone playing something, music or a show or something, low, very low, you know, for the same reasons as I don't want to use my voice, because, you know, it's late and the neighbors and whatever and the crickets. And I was like, wow, just enjoying it. And then all of a sudden a frog just started soloing in the middle of it. And you heard I said I had just been sitting out there for like years. I never heard a frog before. So I was just delighted. I think I might have talked about this. I have a friend who, I don't know if she still lives there, but she lived on a street, and at the end of her street, for a while, there was like a retention ditch, because there was a bunch of new houses, and they all sort of were, they had like a little like steep grade, like driveway up to their house, and it wasn't a cul-de-sac, but they all kind of drained into this one ditch. There's like 4 or 5 houses in this one little cluster, and then between the grass, like they didn't have sidewalks in this particular area, so their grass would just go all the way down into the ditch. But because there was no sidewalk, you know, they knew people had to be up and around there, so we often would have dinner and then like walk around the neighborhood. You know, there'd be like 4 or 5 of us, and in the retention pond ditch thing was a frog village, and they would sing so loud, and it was just amazing. Like, most of us were not from like this area and like totally citified people, so I've been here since, you know, 2004, and I'm just all, oh, nature, why? Every time I see an animal, I like lose my mind. Anyway, so that would be us dorks down at the end of the street. The pond was kind of mostly in front of this one house, but those people were so cool because, you know, we'd either have drunk wine or smoked pot or both or whatever. So we, you know, we knew to be like respectful of the people, but we were a little buzzed. And the house that the pond was right in front of, those people were so cool. Like, they knew that we came there. They never, like, we'd see them. Sometimes they'd come out. They never, like, no one ever complained. Like, it was nice. It was like the whole experience was nice. So that's why I was so delighted. I had a frog like right outside my door. I was like, no way. That is like, yay, thanks God. Anyway, so I noticed that I was being all quiet. Like, at this point, I'm like, I got the system down. I'm quiet. The cat was being very cooperative and just sleeping, so he wasn't making any noise. And what I noticed was that if I kept my thoughts happy and light, like on the high vibration end of vibration, then the crickets and the frog, they did like a whole concert. Like, first it was loud crickets, then the frog came in and was like singing with both of them, and then the frog drowned out the crickets, and the crickets just stopped singing for a minute, and the frog was like, yeah, 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 whatever. I'm not even trying to make that sound, but the frog was going off, and then the frog was like, oh wait, where'd everybody else go? And kind of calmed down. And then the crickets came back in, like the frog was soloing. And then my mind does what it often does, and it wandered to some shred of thing that I still haven't quite been able to let go of. Like, that's another thing about like that solar flash happening thing and us doing it. Like, that's the kind of thing we have to clean out of our energy. But I've known about that for a long time, and thank God I've had a long time to kind of work on it. And I'm to the point now. I just realized I'm just all I blah blah blah, I blah blah. I hope it just doesn't sound like I'm just all I can do this, I can do that. Look at me. That's not why I'm telling you all this. I'm telling you because no one is like explaining anything to me. I'm just kind of fumbling along. And I just, want people to understand that, like, you will find what you're looking for. Like, you will find the teaching that's right for you and the teacher that's right for you. If that's what you want to find, like, you'll find it. I'm sharing what I know or what I'm learning because, like, I didn't already know how to do this to start with. I'm just, like I said, I'm just fumbling along. I'm like teaching myself. And so I imagine I'm not the only one in my position. And I just have like this inclination to like share it with you because I've also been told, as probably a bunch of you have seen teachings on YouTube, have been told, like, go ahead and share your experience. So that's what I'm doing. Because this is new to everybody, right? So, okay, back to tuning the energies of me and kind of the frog and the crickets. It was just like a volley. But then, so I had the, like, fragments of things that I've been trying to get rid of forever. And I've been getting a lot better when meditating of, like, the stuff that comes in, like the thoughts that come in, even if it's something that it can, like, get a little hook in me and make me be all, oh yeah, I remember when, blah, blah, like, and then you start thinking about it. So I don't even go that far. Like, I can already recognize it when it's coming, and I'm like, okay, and keep moving, like, let it pass and don't engage with it. But it's to the point where it's not even like that much. It's just kind of like, I'm not thinking about it. It just comes, the thought comes in, and like, and it's gone fast. And so when I was doing the thing with the frog and the crickets last night, I just happened to notice that, like, if I was keeping it light, they were singing, like, really intricate, like, it was like a dang symphony out there. It was like orchestral and anyway, but then if I started to slide into thinking about those fragments, I noticed that I was like, you gotta go. Like, it was gone so fast. And mind you, there's no me saying you gotta go. It's just like the thought of it, the impulse, like the knowing that that's what I wanted immediately made it happen. And I'm like, ooh, okay, that's cool and new. Like that. But it was like, I felt like maybe I learned a new thing, but I felt like I finally got to the point where I was like, this is too important. Like, I actually care about this too much to be messing around with stupid fragments. Well, this is like after I like came inside and shut the door and all that and was going to bed. But I was thinking about, like, wow, was that really happening? But I did it for a while. Like, I was sitting there for like hours. So, I was just sort of like, the energy was moving back and forth, and it was just like, wow, man, that's crazy. Okay. Oh, So I looked up the spiritual significance of crickets, and they're like good luck. And what are you doing here? No, what? No. What the? You have got to be kidding me. I don't want to tap or anything. Oh my gosh, I don't like you. Okay, well, I had the tab open, but something is stuck on there. Okay, so all I can really remember about the crickets was that they were good luck and like happy things, positive things. And then the frog, well, I wish I could tell you because I didn't actually memorize it. The frog was about like transformation and spiritual something or other. I can't remember. What the freaking frack? So I have an iPhone, as you can see, and I don't like it because it does stuff like this. Like you accidentally like drop a hair on the ad and then it's just stuck. And then it says Google Lens, and I don't even know how to use that. I don't want to use it. I don't care. I want my, there we go, new search. There, I got rid of it. Ooh, okay. Ooh, here we go. Ooh, I'm getting so excited. Sorry. Oh, no, I'm not. Gotta stop doing that. That's such a bad habit. Yeah, open, there we go. The frog. Time to clear your path and find your intuition. So, funny, wasn't I just talking about paths a minute ago that we're all on? Whether we know it or not, and part of the journey is learning that we're on one and figuring out what we're supposed to be doing along the way. Embracing the frog as your spirit animal. Leap into spiritual wisdom. See? Spiritual whatever thing. I don't know if I'm enjoying it or not. Can I read it first? Sorry. Let me retract my claws. Sorry, that was... I just sounded like a rusty hinge. Okay, a leap into spiritual wisdom. The world of spirit... I don't want to read all of that. The frog stands out as an emblem of transformation, healing, and ancient wisdom. In this exploration, we will dive into the mystical world of spiritual symbolism. Okay, I already know that. Sorry. There's like a lot of the same crap already. A lot of B-roll being repeated here. The frog, often regarded as a symbol of metamorphosis, holds significant spiritual meaning in various... You already said that they're like, let's delve into deep waters. How many times are we going to preamble before we actually amble? Transformation and change. The frog is the quintessential emblem of transformation. Just as it undergoes a profound metamorphosis from tadpole to adult, so too does it represent personal change and growth. Well, usually I get something like the butterfly for that, so, maybe this is a step up. Like, maybe this is like a graduation into a new, a whole new layer of the awakening, stairway. Intuition and psychic abilities. I'm trying to find where she just says the thing I want to know and she's not doing a bunch of blah blah blah. The frog spirit encourages you to trust your instincts and delve into the depths of your subconscious. Ding ding ding. We were talking about that. There's some pretty frog pictures. I'm not going to keep reading this. There's too much extraneous stuff. That's a pretty one, too. I don't think what's out there is either of those. Those both looks pretty exotic. Okay, so I have some cards that I pulled, and let's see how they correspond with what we're talking about. So this should be interesting. Okay, so first card is 0333. Wow, okay, my ear just got a really loud tone. I was gonna say 33 is the number that you, well, this is just morbid, but it's the age that Jesus died, Jesus Christ. But it also, the 33 represents spirit. The subtitle is Lucky Shirt, and it reads, pursue your goals, get what you want. It will provide wonderful benefits for you and the people you hold dear. Your ability to communicate is improving at this time, which will make it easier for you to interact with a broad spectrum of individuals. Well, that's interesting. Pursue your goals and get what you want. Well, we all want that peace and love, right? The keywords are love, peace, hope, and optimism. Transferring responsibility to others. That seems like a weird phrasing. I wonder if it's supposed to mean delegating. Or, because transferring responsibility to others, is that just like a fancy way of saying, I don't want to take responsibility for thing, whatever? I think it must be delegate, because it would be out of place with everything else, because the following words are, transferring responsibility to others. So, yeah, the next words are progress and creativity. Maybe it means more like sharing the responsibility. And you can do that when you meet, you can do that for you and the people you hold dear. Which, in a fellow man kind of way, I hope is everybody. Can we include everyone? Oh, look it. 0303 was the other one. This one's 1313. Are you guys being consecutive? The subtitle is Starting Fresh. Boy, I mean, every step along the way that leads to participation of causing the solar flash and the event, unless those are one and the same, that's going to be a whole new thing. Like I said, like what's happening right now, people usually don't ascend when they're incarnate. That usually happens after death, and then you come back, with a reset, reprogrammed, or whatever, rebooted. Oh, okay, so 1313, starting fresh. Step out of your comfort zone. You are about to create something meaningful. If we all, what could be more meaningful than achieving like human consciousness singularity? All of your skills and talents will bring you auspicious profits. Well, I won't hate that. I need some profits. I could do with some change, some extra change. Build up your confidence and trust in your decisions. Well, I mean, that's good, but pretty generic advice. Well, I don't know. Maybe not when looked at from the perspective of being a tiny part in a really big and complex thing that the entire working of it is for the good of all. I should speed it up here. Okay, so next card is 1818. Okay, sticking with the teens, the willpower, the subtitle is willpower. And the card reads, wow, significant events are on the cards for you. I'm sensing a theme. You will you will progress in your endeavors and gain new experiences. All along the way, the right people and resources will be put in your path. I'm ready for that. Aren't you? An excellent proposal or change is coming up. You are destined for greatness. Well, that just sounds great. Thank you very much. I'll accept that. I'll accept the charges. And this next card is 1515. The subtitle is The Big Break. And the card reads, an opportunity, help, extra cash, or other support is coming your way. I think things are going my way. So keep going and have fun when performing your tasks. That makes them less task-like if you have fun. I don't know, task always sounds like something you have to do it. Not gonna enjoy it. Gotta do it. The most tremendous success comes from passion. All efforts will be rewarded big time. I'm keeping accounts, you know. And the final card is... I don't have to read that. Well, I will for maybe somebody can't see. 0000. 4 zeros in a row. Limitless potential. Well, from 0, you got nowhere to go but up. I mean, you could be all nerdy and go negative, but let's not. Limitless potential is a subtitle. Card reads, it serves as a timely reminder that anything can be accomplished. If you can dream it, there's no reason you can't make it a reality. That is because we always have access to the source material, and something we do without even thinking about it, without having any rules or instruction, is manifest. If we're in the right mood, if we're vibing the right way, in the right frequency, then we will align with the dimension where the thing that we would like to be the case already is. And so by aligning with it, we go there, and that's where we are, and that's where we live now. Allegedly. Take it or leave it. But yeah, there's no reason you can't make it a reality. If you can dream it, you can be it. That's another one of those annoying little pat statements, but now it makes a kind of sense, so shut up. If something is in the possession of another person, it is also available to you. So try to remain calm. What's meant for you won't pass you by. Let go of tension, relax. You'll hear it a lot, but you know what? It's good advice, because if you can't let go of the tension, like let go, like I was saying, of my stuff that I've been... Well, you know, I'm trying not to say struggling with, like, sort of dislodging, like letting go of it, but like actually like being able to release it is more of the issue. But it's not actually that. It's not like you're broken or something. There's just a lot. You're not just dealing with your however many years you've been alive this time around. There's more than likely more than one other set of stuff that you also have to root through and purge and process, you know, and assimilate, you know, the residue or whatever. Like, you got a lot of work to do still, so don't beat yourself up. If you're like me, you're just getting to the point where you're realizing that all of this stuff is there that you have to deal with before you can go forward in other ways. But it's not a punishment, it's not a bad thing. Like, it's just a whole bunch more of stuff you actually want to be doing while you're even here in the first place. So it's like what you want, you know? We learn to look at, like, what's happening in our lives as bad things, or, you know, things to be sad about. But really, like, even if there's an element of that it just kind of makes it richer for the experience that you're going to get out of it. Because I'm starting to understand, wherever we come from, where we're not this, there must not be a lot of emotion happening, because the instruction I get a lot from, like, the Arcturians in particular is, feel those feelings, feel every bit, feel the shit out of that shit. They're, like, all about feeling the feelings. It kind of makes you think there's not much going on feelings-wise off-planet, but that remains to be seen. I won't say I don't know, because I probably do know, and it's just behind a little veil that you don't need to know that yet. Okay, fine. But I want to know now, not now. Okay, fine. All right, I'm done. Thank you and good night. No?